We've seen the Indian Palace, we've seen the greenhouse, all 45 acres of the garden. Are you ready to see inside the chateau? Let's check this out. So right in the entry, we have the royal foyer here with all this stone on the ground, the columns. The home was built in 1651 and took 10 years to complete. It has 40 bedrooms, 5 living rooms, 2 dining rooms. The square footage, they don't even know. And we're only actually touring 1/4 of this castle. This side over here is private. The owner lives on this side, so we're touring, I guess you could call it the public side, but it's still pretty crazy. Let's start heading up the stairs off of the foyer. Look at this stairwell. Like triple width stairwell here. Look at this stonework, the wrought iron railings, statement stairwell if I have ever seen one. So onto the second floor here, we're gonna head off to my right. And I wanna also point out the artifacts. I'm not gonna actually touch this because it took 30 years to collect all the art in here. And again, I wanna mention the art is worth north of $1 million. Off of the stairwell, welcome to the formal dining room, reception area. This is where the king would greet his guests. It's also where they would feast. You notice all the silverware. I want to point out again, everything in here is authentic. For example, these 4 vases here were gifted to Napoleon by the King of Sweden, and they're here in this house. As we go out throughout the home, we'll point out a few more artifacts, but this is the entertaining room for when your guests arrive to the chateau. You've got views there to the south, the north of the courtyard, Juliet balconies. The ceilings are about 30 feet high or 10 meters, and you can just see the scale of this room. It is massive. Now from the dining room, we've got your parlor or your great room here, and this is decorated in typical 17th century French decor. Again, everything you see in here is authentic. For example, this is a portrait of Marie Antoinette young, and then on the other side of Marie Antoinette old. This over here is actually the wheelchair of Marie Antoinette's son. His actual wheelchair. He had a disability and this is what he used to get around. And that's actually a painting of him right above here. I want to also point out that the typical French living room in the 17th century was decorated like this, where it's the opposite of minimalism. Every piece of the wall is covered in art. The furniture from the formal living room. We've got the pool hall. And this is an original pool table from Louis XIV. His doctor actually prescribed that after he ate to play pool to help with his indigestion. And this is his original table here, just chilling in the chateau. Then at the end here, again, this typically is closed off because this is actually where the owner of the chateau is living full time. So unfortunately we can't tour that. If we look behind me, you can really see the entire length of this chateau here. And again, let's walk and talk. They actually don't even know the square meters or the square feet of this castle. So formal living room, back into your dining room. And again, we don't know the actual square footage of the chateau. I would guess anywhere from 60 to 80,000 square feet. Off of the formal dining room, we're back to the main stairwell area. And this is the ballroom in the chateau. If you look up all the artwork on the ceiling, you have beautiful crown molding. This is all gold leafed. Every single detail in here. Again, over 30 years it took to design everything out to be as if you were in 17th century France here. I really want to point out the level of detail on the gold leafing here. It's on the walls, the ceilings, and even if you look up, you have this artwork on the ceiling here with the angels, the chandeliers. These are all crystal chandeliers here. These bronze statues. Again, we don't know the individual value of certain pieces, but the total sum is $1.